Are you missing the signs? After 50, women can lose up to 1% of muscle every year. You know, you won't feel it disappearing, but you will feel the consequences. Stairs, you know, they can feel steeper. Balance feels less steady. Getting off the floor feels slower, and groceries feel heavier. This is not just aging. You know, this is strength that's quietly slipping. And the real question is not whether this is happening. The real question is, are you paying attention? And that's really important, because today I'm going to show you exactly what to look for and how to try to stop it before it costs you your independence. Before trying any of these exercises in this video that we're going to talk about, it would be my suggestion to consult a doctor, especially if you have any health conditions that you're dealing with currently. You know, you may not feel weak today. Maybe you still walk, you stay busy, you handle all of your responsibilities. And from the outside, everything looks fine. But something feels different, slightly slower, slightly less steady, slightly less powerful. And here is where most women drift. They ignore it, or they tell themselves, this is just aging. So let me say this clearly. You might be overlooking the signs. Your body adapts to the stimulus that it receives every single day. If you stop challenging strength, your body adapts downward, and that's not a good thing. It adapts downward quietly, gradually, until one day the hesitation is no longer small. And that is the moment confidence shifts. The good news, what adapts down can adapt back up. Hi, I'm Wendy. I help women over 50 rebuild strength, confidence, and independence without extremes, in a way that fits into real life. And after 50, strength is about capability, and strength is also about independence. You know, I struggled for years with my weight, my fitness, my health. I told myself it was my family's genes. It was stress. Not enough time. Did I mention stress? Not enough energy. But you know, this is the thing. Movement felt hard. You know, I was carrying a lot of extra weight. Actually, it was almost 300 pounds at one point. And I did that more than once. Everything felt heavy, low endurance, low confidence, and a low belief that anything would ever change. But you know, in 1998, I got a call and had to go to the hospital because my mother was having a hip replacement. And you know, something became very clear to me that night. If I did not change, I was heading in the very same direction of my mother that night, where she was 20 years into the future. And now it's not because of genes, that's because of the drift. And weakness compounds, but strength compounds too. So that day I made a decision. I would build. I was not going to drift. And here are the signs that most women miss. So sign number one, you know, maybe you avoid the floor. And it's not because you can't get down, it's because getting up feels uncertain. Getting up is the hard part. You know, if standing without using your hands feels hard, lower body strength is declining. And that really matters. So sign number 2 is if stairs feel harder than they did 2 years ago. And you still climb them, you still do the stairs, but you notice the effort. And this is a measurable loss. And you maybe notice that you're using the handrails more. So that's another sign. Sign number 3, your balance feels slightly less steady. Nothing dramatic, just subtle instability. That might be muscle and neuromuscular strength changing. And sign number 4, you tire faster during everyday tasks. Groceries, housework, long walks. Endurance is built on strength. And then sign number 5, you're not strength training at all. This is the part most women miss. Strength does not maintain itself. And after 50, as we've said, muscle declines faster unless it's challenged. The body adapts downward when it's unused. But here's the empowering thing. It adapts upward when it's challenged, when it's trained. So this is not bad news, that's for sure. This is awareness. And awareness is power. And I want you to be sure of that. So you don't need extreme workouts, that's for sure. You simply need to do 2 strength sessions per week. Squats, planks, wall push-ups, daily walking, protein at every meal, sleep that supports recovery. Simple beats intense every single time. Now stay with me here. Small signs ignored become bigger problems. Small corrections now protect your future and your future independence. That is how strength compounds. So let's make this simple, because we really like simple. You need awareness. So here's a test you can try. Sit down on a chair. Stand up without using your hands. This movement protects independence. And if that feels hard, your legs are asking for strength work. So test number 2. Stand on one leg for 20 seconds. No wobbling, no grabbing. Balance reflects strength. And so as I told you about that, I stood on one leg, okay? It's very simple to do. Test 3, carry 2 grocery bags for 30 seconds. Notice your grip, notice your posture, notice your breath. If these feel challenging, this is your invitation. Not to panic, just simply to begin. Start with body weight squats. Do 10. And push yourself to do 10 and then do 2 sets of 10. But start with 10. Same with wall push-ups. Start with 10. Start with planks. Walk daily. 2 strength sessions a week. Build gradually. Strength returns when challenged. The body adapts upward when trained. So there are 2 paths you can choose. One where strength quietly declines, and where you deliberately rebuild it. One leads to hesitation, the other leads to independence, it leads to confidence. One leads to dependency. The other protects your independence. And independence is so important. So you're not only training for today, you're training for the woman you'll be at 70 and beyond. The woman who climbs stairs without thinking. The woman who gets off the floor easily. The woman who carries herself without fear. That woman is built now. Drift is automatic. Strength is intentional. So let me ask you, which small signal have you been ignoring? And if you want to share that in the comments, I read them all. And let it sit. If you're ready to rebuild strength in a simple, sustainable way, I do invite you to join my private fitness and longevity newsletter. I will send you my 10-minute confidence habit, and it's designed specifically for women over 50 who want to stay strong, capable, and independent. So, in my newsletter, I share practical strength strategies, walking structure, and muscle protection principles every single week. I'll put the link in the description to this video below. And if you want to understand why you're feeling the way you are and weaker after 50, here's what's actually happening. I'll have that video over here, and you can watch that one next. It will give you the deeper understanding behind what we talked about today. So I invite you to move more, move well, and move often. I'm Wendy, wendybottrell.com. Thanks for being here.